Okay, we are live. Hey, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to continue on with our credit kickoff series, and we just recently gave information on how to handle collections. So I broke collections down. If you want to find that information, if you having problems with collection, feel free to go to my prior videos. And if you need, medical collections removed, also if you're having trouble with consumer collections, that's collections that defaulted from a result of a credit card, and also eviction collections, feel free to go back and review that. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, everyone. If you can also, if you're new to the channel, thank you. If you can really, I will appreciate it if you would like the video. It helps the algorithm. And also subscribe to the channel if you find this information to be helpful. So I'm going to jump into inquiries. Inquiries, basically, there are two types of inquiries. One type of inquiry is a soft pull. So if you are a person that's monitoring your credit, you may create a soft pull if you use Credit Karma or any one of these systems to actually look at your credit and also to maintain your credit score. That is fine. There are new credit card companies for approvals. You'll see that they're saying that it's a soft pull. And soft pulls do not affect or impact your credit score. The second type of inquiry that really affects your credit score is what's called a hard pull. Now, a hard pull is you searching for credit. Why is this important, and why would a hard pull impact your credit score? Why will lenders want to know about you searching for credit? Well, what happens is this: banks and lenders, when they see that you're searching for credit, it makes you look desperate, or it makes it look like that you are applying for credit from other lenders and not being approved. So for them, it's a red flag. Generally, they have data to prove this out. The type of data that they have, they can see a person with more than 8 credit pulls in a year period, 2-year period, is more likely to default on their accounts. So it makes you look like you don't have savings or cash flow. So this is why this is a red flag. If you don't know, searching for new credit, it is 10% of what makes up your credit score. So a hard pull generally will cost you 3 to 7 points on the average. And this is dependent on your credit score. The lower your credit score, the harder that is going to impact your credit. So a lot of people with a low credit score tend to keep pulling their credit even when they're being denied. They'll look up and have 11, 14 hard inquiry pulls, and they can lose 40 points just like that because they continue to pull their credit and they're getting denied. One of the key factors that you need to understand: I don't care how great your credit score is. I have seen people with a 730, 750 credit score get denied because they have way too many inquiries. Especially in this kind of environment, this is a red flag with the coronavirus going on out here, with this pandemic. A lot of lenders are really looking at that. So you want to be very careful with your inquiries. You do not want more than 3 inquiries a year, 6 in 2 years. So this can get you denied for a loan. Another key point with inquiries, where people really have to be careful, you do get inquiries from current accounts, credit card accounts. So those kind of inquiries, you want to be very careful not to dispute, because if you say that's not my account, that can shut that whole credit line down. So those lenders that you do have a current relationship with, car note, if you have credit cards or some kind of account, they can, a mortgage, they will review your credit score. And pull your credit. They do have a right to do so since you have an account with them. Now, who doesn't have a right to pull your credit score? You'll see sometimes if you have a collections, they pull your credit score. You did not have an account with them, so those you can dispute, because after all, they're collecting on an account, but you do not know them as a company. You never did business with them as a company. So those you can dispute off, even though there is a collection reporting. One key component that you need to understand when it comes to inquiries is permissible purpose. No one has a right to access your credit file without your permission. So when you're looking for a job, you're signing paperwork to give them permission to do a background check and to check your credit. So a signature is very important. If you're calling for a credit card, many times they may record your call to record that you're giving them permissible purpose. So keep that in mind. There are occasions, and this is the new way of our technology world, a lot of applying for credit cards now do not take place over the phone. It take place online. So that being said, you'll have a lot of times when you're doing things online, you'll have some of these companies that try to record your IP address, like with SageStream, different ways, your email address, and use that as your permission. That is not your permission, because people get hacked constantly. There's a lot of identity theft going on, and people can get access to your information and use the web to pull your credit report and try to open credit accounts in your name. So they need to show you permissible purpose where they accessed your credit file. And that in turn is in writing with your signature. Many times you may go to a store, let's say Victoria's Secrets, New York and Jean Company, a store, and they offer you a credit card. And a lot of times you have some of these salespeople who are forced, to have a certain amount of credit card accounts created under their name as a rep. So you may be coerced into signing a document. And even with that, you could dispute that because you were baited. You might have thought you were going to get a discount some kind of way, but you did not know they were going to run your credit. So those kind of hard inquiries you can dispute. Now, keep in mind, when it comes down to hard inquiries, they do stay on your credit report for 2 years. So when that hard inquiry is created, it takes 2 years for it to fall off from the date of inquiry. Another thing you need to keep in mind, auto dealerships, they are notorious for running your credit report 2 or 3, I have seen 5 times in one day. So they are really notorious for that. And they did not get your permission or to run your credit report that many times. So when it comes down to monitoring your credit, if you know you went to search for a vehicle, you better be very careful, because once they get your information, a lot of those mailings that you guys get that you're approved for come down to so and so Honda, you're guaranteed approved for a vehicle up to $30,000. The way they're marketing that to you is by pulling your credit score. And many times they don't have your permission to do so. They only had your permission to do so one time, and that dealership. Now you see a bunch of different finance companies with your pulling your credit, and this was not, your permissible purpose to do so. Now when it comes down to renting an apartment, screening, keep in mind, if you guys out there looking for a place, if you're signing an application, a lot of times they're doing a hard pull. So you may want to keep this in mind, that if you are looking for an apartment, you want to make sure you really have a good chance of getting that apartment, because each pull will decrease your credit score, and it might minimize your chances of getting a apartment that you really need, because each time your credit score is pulled, your credit score will decrease, and if it's a hard inquiry. Now, another thing that you need to know with credit pulls or inquiries, these hard inquiries, you can dispute off via writing, not only initially to the company that access your credit file, is where you usually need to start. They have to find out where you gave them actual permissible purpose to access your credit score. So that's what you want to do. You want to make sure that they had your permission. So in the letters, you would want to make sure that you include where is the signed application or contract that you gave them permission to access your credit file. If you need these letters, I do have free inquiry deletion letters at my website, so you can feel free to go and get those if you need have a number of hard inquiries. Then, if they do not respond, or a lot of times they will respond saying they don't have enough information, whatever, they don't know you, then that is a blatant statement that they didn't have a legal right to access your credit file. You would then want to take that letter, use that as evidence, and dispute that inquiry off now with the credit bureaus, because they have clearly written you telling you they don't know you. So if they don't know you, they should not have accessed your credit report. Apparently, you don't have my permission. So you can then take that, use it as evidence, and dispute that with the credit bureaus. So also, what you need to keep in mind, if you are looking at inquiries, each credit bureau have different inquiries reporting. It, are some cases that one lender will, especially if you're looking for a mortgage, pull your credit score across the board. But generally, depending on your lender, most lenders use one of the 3 credit bureaus. They don't use all 3. So if you do not have access to your credit reports via a credit monitoring system or, my free annual credit reports, usually you're going to have different inquiries or different companies reporting on your credit as accessing your file with different bureaus. So do not think that it's like collection accounts or a charge off where it reports generally across all three. It might not necessarily be true all the time, because I have seen a lot of charge offs or collections not reporting to all three. But with inquiries, it generally do not, what you see on your Experian credit report will not be reporting on your Equifax. So you need to access each credit bureau and look at each inquiry itself and see if you recognize each company that access your credit file. So when you dispute with that credit bureau, keep that in mind. You need to send that particular dispute for that company with that response to that bureau that is only reporting that inquiry. Generally, it will not be all three across the board. So you may have your Experian with, I have seen it, one person had almost 66 inquiries, and there are other credit bureaus too, 3 or 4. So the problem was with one particular, either lender, someone got their information and was pulling through one particular bureau. So it depends on the lender. So, places like savings and loans or credit unions, generally, from my experience, will use Equifax. And so they're not commonly pulled. I see more or less Experian, that a lot of lenders love to use Experian, because if you don't know, in the credit world, they update constantly. So once a week, and where the other two bureaus only update once a month. So they have generally real-time information. So you'll see a lot of lenders pull through Experian. So you want to keep that in mind. It's also a good practice, if you know you have a lot of inquiries on with one particular bureau, you need to research. If you're looking for a car, if you're looking for a credit card, to really search out which bureau that they're pulling from, because you can use that as your advantage. If you don't know, different bureaus have different credit scores. So you might want to go with your stronger credit score. Also, you may want to pay attention if your stronger credit score is with Experian. Let's use that for example, but you already know you have 8 hard inquiry pulls. You might not want to go to that lender, because you may just be denied because you already have maxed out what that lender would consider with their underwriting on how they will approve you just for the inquiries alone. So keep that in mind. So when you send out that letter to the bureaus to dispute it, showing that that company saying they don't know you or whatever that reply may be, to try to get that item removed. So you can go a couple of rounds of letters if you want to try to dispute that inquiry. Or another thing I always mention is using, I am not an attorney. Like, let's keep this in mind, you guys, because sometimes I give out information, and some people will call me about things that I am not an attorney. So I'm just going to give you my experience. My personal experience, I have cleaned up my credit with these inquiries really quickly, maybe in 45 days, just for the simple fact I will leverage my local court system for really suing these companies for defamation of character. So a lot of times you'll see in my letters, I would tell you to research who is, customer service manager there to get names, the CEO, those people, because I will place a small claims court lawsuit against that person and also the company because you are causing me financial harm. I cannot get a apartment. I cannot get a vehicle because you're saying I gave you permission to access my credit report and you have no evidence that I have given you that permission. So usually I'll wait. If I'm going to take that step, dispute with that company and the credit bureau, and then if they won't remove it, simply, initiate a lawsuit. And I never had one of these items go to court. I usually get paid from this because I'm suing them for defamation. I make sure I keep the number generally small, so maybe like $500, and they'll call me, make a deal to tell them to delete this immediately, which is generally in a 30-day time frame, and to pay me $200 or $300 because you caused me defamation of my character. So those are the types of strategies I employ to remove hard inquiries. Those are the general. Now, if you want to do credit analyzation, I have seen and I have had people that did testimonials. You can possibly get these removed in 24 hours. So it depends on a case-by-case basis. With my credit analyzation, I look at certain things to see if we have a window. And I had a gentleman who did, Todd, did a testimonial that he got all 14 of his inquiries removed within 24 hours. So he sat down with me via Zoom. We went over some things and we were able to get that accomplished. So we was able to do it very quickly. But like I said, it's a case-by-case basis. That is the benefit of the credit analyzation. Even with your collections, charge-offs, keep in mind, a lot of this stuff is general law under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So these are what we leverage. But sometimes you guys give me key detailed information. That's why I do the Zoom to find out, was it other circumstances that came into play that we can leverage to get this done ASAP, and what ways we can do so. Also, if you are looking for ways to increase your credit score, I have a course, How to Boost Your Credit Within 45 Days or Less. If you have problems with collections, I have a course also on how to handle that. You can take it below. It's a teachable course, and you can get the information in my videos step by step on how to remove and how to deal with these items. So if you're interested in consulting with me, or if you need help with your credit, I do offer a personal plan. If you want the analyzation, I offer that also without you having to pay me to work on your credit or work with you on your credit step by step. Feel free to do so. You can also go to my website. On the homepage, I have one inquiry, hard inquiry removal letter, and also another one on my pricing page at the bottom, absolutely free to you. So these are letters that you can access and use yourself and send out. So I'm giving this, I always give this for the credit kickoff, because if you can remove 5 or 6 of these, you can see a difference in your credit score by 20 points to get rid of these hard inquiries. I see a lot of people that came in that I recognize. I just want to greet you guys. I appreciate you guys. Hector, how you doing this evening, Hector? I was thinking I need to reach out to you, just check in on you probably in the next couple of days. Thank you for coming in, Ronald. You saying I was in the market for a new Jeep, $30,000. I was approved, but decided to wait. I need these inquiries removed and didn't finance the car. And Trey, he came in and said, "Hi, good evening, Trey. Ronald, I want to address your question because it was a good question. Generally, you guys, when it comes down to hard inquiries, you want to wait to dispute these within 30 days. That you actually sign for. There's your signature. Then usually some certain companies do not keep that information for long or recording. But you're saying that you had an auto, you were applying for a car, and a lot of times, depending on that situation, we can get that removed within 24 hours if I can look at the information to see how the hard inquiry was created. So how was the pull done? But with that, if you're interested in that, you need to contact me. Let me look at it. If not, feel free to go and get my free letters from the website. Fill it out, type it in. You can download it and send it out. The steps that I already went over through this video is the ones that you would use in order to remove those items. Good evening, Patricia Vaughn. Thank you so much for joining me. So I hope this was informational, you guys. Thank you, each and every one of y'all, for joining me. If you are still in the room and didn't hit the like button, please do so. If you know someone that's dealing with hard inquiries, please send them the video, share it, and also they can go to my website to get the free letters to remove it. So I hope you guys have a blessed and productive day. Thank you for all your support, and be blessed.